All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Badash. Double honor to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim out here pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability given to them by Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, fall upon all your houses. This is the brother Quanah Waltz from the Arizona Great Millstone Camp coming back at you, Lord will, with the edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. So, man, hey, man, in the news, man, there's been a lot of talks, about the last two major prophecies, man, because those were the last two major prophecies we have to come to pass, and we're in the time that those prophecies are ultimately going to come to pass, and Lord will, right, this be that year. Right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem El Shai, beloved elder apostle, I deem this year, right, so 2023 to be the hopeful year that all prophecies come to pass. And Lord will, that does happen, man. And we're starting to see that these prophecies are speaking more and more in these last few days, man. So I got a couple articles I want to get into, right, just dealing with, one major country that's been in the news, speaking against America, heavily, which is North Korea, right? It says North Korea's intercontinental ballistic missiles could hit central U.S. in just 33 minutes, says the Chinese study, right? And, America and South Korea, had entered into joint, military drills not too long ago. I think they're either still going through those drills over there, or they had just ended. I don't necessarily know per se, but I know that, recently, very recently, in the last couple weeks, because of those joint drills that South Korea and America are doing, which North Korea sees as a threat, right? Because South Korea and North Korea, right, they're connected, right? North Korea was firing off, basically as a show of force, a show of power, their own missiles as well, using a the direction of where America is from North Korea as a point where they're going to shoot off their missiles, right? So they're basically saying, hey, we got missiles, we're going to fire them off in your direction. They're going to hit the ocean. They're not going to hit you. But this is, just letting you know, hey, we're aimed at you, right? They're aimed at America, right? Excuse me, I think my screen is a little dark. Raise it up a little bit. It says, keep going. It says, the bullet points, it says, North Korea's ICBMs can conceivably penetrate the U.S. missiles defense system, a Chinese study found. The study simulated the launch of a Hwangfo 15 missile towards Columbia, Missouri. On Thursday, North Korea test fired its most advanced nuclear-capable missile, right? So again, they're doing their tests, right? They're doing their drills, right? Which again, we see, Russia, more recently Iran and Saudi Arabia just got back together, right? They got back into some deals, right? Which we know that those nations, right, are ultimately, allied with Russia, right? China, is getting with Russia, right? So all these nations, right, that ultimately have it out for America are getting together, man, right? And their allies, and so on and so forth, man. All these allies that are all these nations that are allied with Russia and China who are against America, right, are ultimately getting together, and that's again, that's going to be World War III, right? Because the scriptures state that that these nations are ultimately going to gather together, right, to come up against Babylon. Matter of fact, let's prove that. Let's prove that. Jeremiah the 50th chapter, right, starting at the 9th verse, right, it says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon," which we know Babylon, right, in this time is America, right, with the people who know, the people know that Babylon, right, today is America, Babylon the Great, right? The scriptures, ultimately give America in this time, many names in the ancient times, right? Nineveh, right? Basra, Petra, so on and so forth, man, It says, for lo, I will raise the cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north country, right? And that north country, right, is going into Russia, right? So meaning an assembly of great nations, right, that are ultimately going to be allied with Russia, because Russia is going to be the main, country that ultimately comes up against America, right? And Russia is going to be the one to hit the button, man. And the rest of the nations that are allied with Russia against America are going to hit the button against America as well, right? But Russia is going to give that order. Russia is going to be the main one, And again, all the nations that are, again, going to be allied and or allied with Russia, right? It says, and they shall set themselves in array against her. Against who? Against Babylon, man, right? It says, from thence she shall be taken their arrows, which are going into these ICBM nuclear missiles, right? And Esau knows that, right? The Esau knows that in the scriptures, these ICBM nuclear missiles are called arrows, man. Because he has a missile defense system that Israel and America has. It's called the Arrow 3 missile defense system. You can look it up. So I mean, why would they? And it's specifically made for ICBMs, right? These large, nuclear capable missiles, as well as smaller missiles, man. But again, they're made strictly for, those large missiles, man, right? That are hard to be taken down, It says, their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert, none shall return in vain, right? Meaning they're ultimately going to hit their mark, man, which you go into Joel, the 2nd chapter, where explains that, in depth, man, but we're going to go back to this. It says, second paragraph, where it says, a simulation, I shall read the first paragraph again. It says, North Korea ICBMs could hit the central U.S. in just 33 minutes, according to a new Chinese study which pointed to potential gaps in the U.S. satellite-aided system for tracking missiles. A simulation run by the Beijing Institute of Electronic System Engineering found that one of its missiles could hit the U.S. mainland within 1,997 seconds, if not intercepted by a U.S. missile defense, according to the South China Morning Post, which we just read in the first, the first paragraph, right above this, that, that ultimately, they found by shooting a missile and having it go that fast, that they can ultimately, expose a weak spot within the America's missile defense system, man. Because America's missile defense system, I'm pretty sure, right, it's not capable of reacting that fast. They have to enter into a certain zone, right, for American satellites to be able to fully track these missiles. It has to be so far away, or it has to be within reach, right, of their technology for them to be able to track a missile. And if it's going at that fast, man, it's going to be almost impossible to actually prepare for the missile, and be able to set up your defense quick enough to stop it, man. Because that's fast. They have Russia, China, North Korea, and many other nations. They have missiles, right, all together, right? They have missiles that can go up to Mach 21, and you can look up the speed of Mach 21, right? That's like, I'm not sure, like 15, 16, maybe 17 times the speed of sound, man. That's unfucking believably fast, That's the missiles that these nations are creating. Really, it's the Lord, right? The Lord's putting, his spirit on the, on the minds of these nations to ultimately create these, these nuclear missiles, man. Matter of fact, let's grab that. Let's grab this first. Proverbs 21:1. It says, the king's heart, which is his mind, right, is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will, right? So the Lord's in control of what these nations are doing, man. Creating these ICBM nuclear missiles, right? This is Isaiah 54 and verse 16. It says, behold, this is the Lord speaking. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. So yes, right? So it's the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that's having these nations, bring up these weapons of mass destruction, man. And the smith is going into these, modern day engineers, and scientists that, ultimately splice these molecules, right, these atoms, right, and get them to the point where just this, the sensitivity can, or the clashing of the two atoms can ultimately create a bomb, right? Such as the atom bomb, so on and so forth, man. Right? They split atoms and this, that, and the third in order to create these bombs, man. That's an extreme, extremely hard thing to split an atom, right? So that shows you that, and Esau is the basis of men, but yeah, his scientists are the ones that are doing it. His German scientists and so on and so forth, man. Are the ones that are doing it. So and Esau doesn't have that salt, man. So that has to be divinely inspired for Esau to be able to actually create something like that, man. And he has, right? Again, through his spirit and power, Yahweh Shemel Shai. So this is the Lord speaking again. It says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. Again, it's going into those ICBM nuclear missiles, man. That North Korea, Russia, China, Iran, so on and so forth have created to take down America, man. Hey, man, America's got something coming, man. But I'll keep reading. It says the study simulation, the study simulated the firing of a Hwasong Fo-15 missile from the central North Korean city of Sukan towards Columbia, Missouri. Per the SCMP, the Hwasong 15 is a two-stage likely nuclear capable missile with an operational range of up to 8,000 miles. This is sufficient to hit the entire U.S. homeland. The SCMP reported the study's leader, Tang Yuyan, as saying, the study also said the U.S. missile defense system would be alerted about 20 seconds after firing, and that the first interceptor missile will be launched around 11 minutes after, per the SCMP. So we're talking about, so again, it's talking about that defense system, right? The slow reaction of their defense system. It says the first interceptor missile will be launched 11 minutes after it's already fired, man. Right? 11 minutes, you can fire off, depending on how fast they launch out, you can fire off multiple ICBM nuclear missiles, especially from multiple different countries, man. Right? And multiple different points of these countries being able to, multiple different silo locations, right? Them being able to launch their nuclear missiles, man. And again, this is just speaking on North Korea, right? In their position, right? What about Russia, right? What about Russia? And they have nuclear, submarines, right? Just off the coast, which it would literally take a ICBM nuclear missile maybe a minute and a half to get to America, right? To the shores of America to hit, New York or Tennessee, Virginia, or, Ohio, Cincinnati, Rhode Island, Florida, Georgia, so on and so forth, man. Right? We're talking about in a minute or two, America wouldn't be able to, they would let alone be able to, barely be able to see it on their radar, right? As soon as it's shut off, man, So again, this is a gap, right? America, especially in the times we're in, America should always be ready, man. You stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, man. As soon as one's fired off and you be able to detect it, you can immediately hit your button and be able to fire it off. But again, they're exposing a gap, right? A weak point within the American, missile defense system, man. And I don't want to read too much. Actually, you know what? This is the last 4 paragraphs. We might just read the whole thing. It says it added that while the U.S. missile defense network is robust, there are still gaps in its satellite-aided system for tracking missiles. See, proven right there. Right? It says leaving open the possibility that one could slip through. And we understand, man. The scriptures talk about these ICBM nuclear missiles, man. That they're all gonna hit, man. They're all going to hit. They're not going to be thrust through, by Esau's weapons or clash into one another. Matter of fact, we're going to go to Joel, the 2nd chapter, man. We said that it ultimately goes in on, how the chair goes in on those ICBM nuclear missiles, man. We finna read it right here, man. It's a heavy chapter, right? Heavy chapter for these ICBM nuclear missiles. We'll just start at verse 1, right? Joel, the 2nd chapter, verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion. And we're doing just that, man, right? Blowing the trumpet is a form of warning the people, right? Warning the people, the everyday people, right? A lot of these people, right, if it wasn't for, right, the prophets of Yahweh Shemel Shai, ain't nobody would know about anything that's going on in this world, man, right? Because the true news forecasters, right, are the watchmen, right? The prophets of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. And this is exactly what the prophets are saying, right? Beginning with the elder apostles of Great Millstone on down, warning you that a war is around the corner, man. World War III, Jacob's trouble, right? What has to come before World War III is even closer, right? And we know that, again, right after Jacob's trouble pops off, man, it could be days, weeks, maybe even a month or two, right, before all this completely just, snaps off, right? Jacob's trouble, then World War III, Yahweh Shai is coming. This is all going to happen, right, in a quick time, and it's right around the corner, right? Verse 2, it says, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. And this is not talking about, literal people. No, this is talking about those ICBM nuclear missiles, man. It says a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. It says the land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape it, right, man? Meaning that, hey, when they get shot off, they got those propellers, man, that fire, right, to bring them wherever their destination is, right? And when they land, it completely desolates the land, the area in which they hit, completely destroys it, man. Man. Verse 4, it says the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. That's right, man. Right, and horse is symbolic for power, man. So these ICBM nuclear missiles, right, are extremely powerful. It's the greatest missile to ever be created, man. It says, like as the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array, man. And hey, man, these missiles are going to come from far, right? From these different nations, right? Russia, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, so on and so forth. Even America's allies, right? You can go to Revelations 17 and 16, right? And you can read that that even America's allies, right, are going to turn against America, turn against Babylon, And we see some of these situations starting to arise. You got that AUKUS deal that America, stepped on the toes of France, right? That was that Greece deal that America entered in with Greece, and which stepped on the toes of France again. And, America's, with the sanctions on Russia, right? Germany, France, and so on and so forth, right? Were ultimately, Hungary and these other nations, man, they were not, they're not with, those sanctions being put on Russia by America. And guess what? They still did, man. Right. And now these nations, really all of Europe, is facing, extreme, hunger and thirst, man. Because that place is, is not a place where a lot of resources comes from, man. So they have to have they're more of like an import type collection of countries, man. They need to go to other countries in order to get their food and their water and so on and so forth, man. It says continue on, Joel 2 and verse 6, before their face the people shall be much pained, all faces shall gather blackness. It says they shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his way, and they shall not break their ranks. Right, man. So hey, when they get shot off, meaning these missiles are going to go from point A to point B, and that's it. They're not going to deviate. They're not going to do this, that, and the third. They're just going to go straight, and they're going to fucking hit, right? Verse 8, here's the point. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Meaning when you try to shoot them down, it's not going to work, right? The Lord, again, he's going to create these missiles, right? to do one thing, to destroy America. And yes, you're going to have missiles, right, that get shot off in other places, right? But the difference is, hey, those places are going to get built back up. America's not, right? Israel's going to get, has to be purged, right, of the wickedness that's there. So Israel's going to get, Israel's going to get, have some ICBMs hit Israel, right? Clear out those damn devils out there, but it's going to get built back up. America's not going to get built back up, man. America's going to be a desolation forever, man. Complete and utter desolation forever, right? It says, they shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And that's from the mushroom clouds, man. That's from the mushroom clouds, man. And the point it says right here in the verse 10 and the top of verse 10, the earth shall quake before them, right? In Isaiah, I think it's the 24th chapter, it says the earth shall reel to and fro, man, like a drunkard. That's how powerful these missiles are going to be. And the Lord, is going to ultimately overkill America, right? You can read in Revelations, the 9th chapter, where it talks about, the 200,000, right, missiles that are going to ultimately hit America, which goes into 200 million nuclear warheads that's going to hit America, man. Slakia. It says, verse 11:1 right here, it says, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word, for the day of the Lord is great and terrible, and who can abide it? That's right, man. You can't escape what the Lord ultimately has prepared for, America, man. There's no way, man. You're not gonna be able to run from that, man. But that's basically it for this article. Yeah, that's basically it for this article. We don't necessarily need to read the rest of the article, but I do have another article, man, right, going in again on North Korea, man. North Korea preparing for war right now. It says, again, it's on Newsbreak app. It says almost 800,000 have signed up to fight against U.S., North Korea says, right? It says North Korea claims that about 800,000 of its citizens volunteered to join or re-enlist in the nation's military to fight against the United States. So that right there just proves at Jeremiah 50 and verse 9, who these nations are going to be coming up against. It says Babylon, but again, today we know Babylon, right? Virgin daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great, right? As America today, man, which Esau thinks, he could change the name, of a place, right? And you know what I mean? It doesn't apply. No, man, right? We understand, we compare and contrast, right? These places in the scriptures and compare them to America, man. Right? This is why America is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Babylon's called Sodom and Egypt, man. Has many different names throughout the scriptures, man. Right? But y'all people know Babylon the Great as America today, right? It says North Korea State, the new paper law, it says about 800,000 students and workers on Friday alone across the country expressed a desire to enlist or re-enlist in the military to counter the United States. So again, they're coming up against America, man. And I'm not gonna read too much of this. It's basically, pointless to read, but they have a video and everything like that. It says the soaring enthusiasm of young people to join the army is a demonstration of the unshakable will of the younger generation to mercilessly wipe out the war maniacs, making last-ditch efforts to eliminate our precious socialist country and achieve the great cause of national reunification without fail, and a clear manifestation of their adherent patriotism. Damn. That was a mouthful, man. But it says the North's claim came after the secretive communist state launched its Hwasong-17 intercontinental ballistic missile on Thursday in response to ongoing U.S.-South Korea military drills, right? So, again, they're preparing for war, man, right? North Korea is preparing for war, testing these nuclear missiles, right? Which we just read what these nuclear missiles are capable of doing, right? They're going to completely destroy America, man. But these nations, man, as a whole, are preparing for that war with America, man. Right? This is gonna be a bad motherfucking war, man. Edris, right? In second Edris, the 15th chapter, beginning at 28th verse, right? He called it a horrible vision, man. A horrible vision, man. But I'm gonna grab a couple more precepts, man, and we'll get out of here. Joel, the 3rd chapter, beginning at verse 9, it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war." War is being prepared, man. Right? The use of these ICBM nuclear missiles is being prepared as of right now. Right? It says, "Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up." And we've seen earlier, right, a couple months back, at the beginning of the year, that Russia, or the end of last year, that Russia was ultimately, doing these, that draft, right? Drafting people to go, to be into a war. Hey, well, guess what? Now you have people volunteering, right? In North Korea, volunteering to fight against America, man. So this is what's going on, man. We're in that time, right? Verse 10, "Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." And this is what you're seeing, right? North Korea, all these smaller countries, right, that at one point wouldn't have dared, speak against America, are now speaking against America, man. Verse 11, "Assemble yourselves and come, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about." And he's doing that. That's why the Lord is having these nations ultimately come back together, right? Saudi Arabia, Iran, Russia, China, right? North Korea with China, and so on and so forth, man. Right? There's many, many different, countries that aren't necessarily being broadcasted, right, publicly, right, are getting together in with the same goal in mind, to destroy America, man. It says, "Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord." And that's the Lord sending out these angels, right, to play on the minds of these rulers, these kings, man. As we read in Proverbs 21:1. So I'll just grab this last one, and then we'll end it out. Revelations 11:14. It says, "The second war was past, which is World War II, and behold, the third war cometh quickly, which is World War III." So with that, Lord will is edifying. Lord will straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the great millstone. Until next time, I say shalom.